Hello students. We have already done it in our last class, but still I am going to do it again because in last theorem I have do a little mistake because you see uh, somewhere I have used this fact that epsilon by 3 L mod of L1, right? So in this case this L1 is a limit, right? And we know limit of a function can be 0 also, right? So the earlier proof is correct if both the limit is non-zero, right? Because we have assumed that limit of this function is L1 and limit of the function is L2, right? If both the limits are non-zero, then only we can use this fact, otherwise we are not allowed to use this one, right? If L is 0, then as this L1 is a real number, so modulus of any real number, right, is a real number. So modulus of 0 is 0. So epsilon by 3 into 0 is 0. So epsilon by 0, this term becomes undefined. Okay. So I have to do it for all real values. That means if L is positive, if L is negative, or if L is 0 also, then also we have to prove it. That means for all limit. That means whether the limit is 0 or non-zero, I don't care. But I have to prove it for every values of L. Okay. So let us do it again here. Last proof is also true. You can do it in your exams, but you have to mention that where the limits are non-zero, right? If you can mention that where the limits are non-zero, then it is absolutely correct. But you should know how to prove if the limits is 0. Okay. So let me prove it. Prove. The first step is what? You have to assume let epsilon greater than 0, right? And let you have to let these two limits. Let limit fx x tends to a equals to L1 and limit x tends to a gx equals to L2, right? Here L1 and L2 may be 0 also, right? The earlier proof is true. You have to mention that where L1 and L2 are non-zero. Then only you can use this fact that epsilon by mod of L1 or epsilon by mod of L2, right? But if they are 0, then you are not allowed to use these facts. Okay. Now see. Now what I have said, that now you have to do proper estimation. Now fg of, I have already told you how to estimate this, isn't it? So I am not going to explain here again. Fg of x minus L1 into L2 mod. So this is equals to f of x into g of x minus L1 into L2, right? Now this implies fg of x minus L1 into L2, this equals to, now you have to estimate it because you don't know the value of fx into gx, right? You know the values fx minus L1 mod of fx minus L1, you know the values mod of gx minus L2, right? So without thinking anything, you just write mod fx minus L1 bracket, then you see you need this term fx gx, so just multiply this into gx minus L2, right? Plus you write fx minus L1 plus gx minus L2, right? Here you multiply with L2, here it is L1 whole mod. Now this implies fg of x equals to L1 into L2 mod. Now I am going to use the modulus property, less than or equals to fx minus L1 mod gx minus L2 mod plus mod L2 fx minus L1 mod plus mod L1 gx minus L2 mod, right? Give it star. Now you see, you are not allowed to take epsilon in both the cases, as I have told you earlier, isn't it? Because if you take in this case also epsilon, this case also epsilon, then it will become epsilon into epsilon, which is epsilon square, right? So how to do it? You see, anyway, you have to bring one epsilon here, right? Or you can bring some constant multiple of epsilon also, no problem. This is also correct. But you see, epsilon. You see, in one case, I am just writing here. You can take it as a epsilon or L2. This is mod L2. You can take this is epsilon plus mod L1. You can take this is also epsilon, and this one epsilon into epsilon, right? You can take this as some k, no, yeah, this is some k, and this is also epsilon, right? K epsilon plus, so from there you can write k plus mod L2 plus mod L1 whole epsilon. Now this quantity, if this is 0, this is 0, but it is sure that this k is non-zero, right? So it is some constant multiple of epsilon, so this is true. You can write it like that, but I am interested to find only it is a epsilon, single epsilon, right? I am not interested to bring some constant multiple of epsilon or like that. Okay, so let me calculate it properly. K, this is epsilon, okay. Now let me use this fact here. Since epsilon, right, is something k epsilon, okay, k epsilon dash. Now it will be correct, I think. Epsilon dash, okay. Since limit fx x tends to a equals to L1, this implies what? This implies there exists delta 1 greater than 0 such that mod fx minus L1 less than epsilon dash whenever mod x minus a less than delta 1. Okay, again since limit fx equals to L2, sorry, it will be gx, right? Limit gx x tends to a, this implies there exists delta 2 greater than 0 such that mod gx minus L2 less than epsilon dash whenever mod x minus a less than delta 2, right? Where epsilon dash equals to, you just keep it like that, right? Where epsilon dash equals to this, यहाँ पे आप छोड़ दो, बाद में हम कैलकुलेट करके उसका वैल्यू निकाल के यहाँ पे लिख देंगे, ठीक है? तो यहाँ तक तो ठीक है. तो before that, pause the video, note it down. Hello everyone. You just give the inequalities number. Okay. I just forget to give. And where this line is also there. Where where epsilon dash equals to. Okay. Now you see, if I put again here epsilon dash, here epsilon dash, using these two, then again it will become epsilon dash square. Okay. So I am not going to write here epsilon dash square. So let me take some another constant for any one of them. Also for any positive integer, k, we have what we have mod fx minus L1 less than k whenever mod x minus a less than delta 3. Give it equation number 3 where delta 3 depends on k, isn't it? Because every delta is depends on this epsilon, right? So I have taken k in place of epsilon, and according to this epsilon, this delta 3 exists. Okay. Now you see, let me put this. Okay, before that I have to take the minimum delta, right? Because three deltas are there, delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3. So right, let delta equals to minimum of delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3, so that delta greater than 0, comma, with this chosen delta, the above inequalities one, two, three holes whenever mod x minus a less than delta, isn't it? Now from start you just write fg of x minus L1 L2 mod. This is strictly less than, right? Because all these values are strictly less, so you have to use this strictly less. Now fx minus L1, I have to use this k here, k into, then this gx minus L2, this will be what? Epsilon dash, plus this is mod L2. Now here we again use epsilon dash, plus it will be mod L1, this is again epsilon dash, and these all are true whenever mod x minus a less than delta, right? Now this implies fg of x minus L1 into L2 mod less than now you have to take k plus mod L2 plus mod L1 into epsilon dash whenever mod x minus a less than delta, right? Now this implies fg of x minus L1 L2 less than, now I have to bring here epsilon, isn't it? So it will be k plus mod L2 plus mod L1, and definitely this quantity is a non-zero quantity, right? Because if you take both the limits are 0, this is 0, but this k is non-zero because I have taken for any positive integer k, right? So 0 is not a positive integer, so this k is a non-zero quantity. So this whole quantity is a non-zero quantity, right? So I can take, already I have told you, let me first estimate, then I will take the value of epsilon dash here. Now what will be the value of epsilon dash? I can take epsilon dash equals to epsilon by k plus mod L2 plus mod L1 whole bracket, right? Whenever this is true. Now not here, you have to take, you are not allowed to write the value of epsilon dash here. You have to write the value of epsilon dash after choosing the value of k, right? So better to write here, where you write here, where epsilon dash equals to epsilon by k plus mod L2 plus mod L1, isn't it? क्योंकि आप अगर आप यहाँ पे एप्सिलॉन डैश का वैल्यू लिख दोगे k by this, but k क्या है, हमने तो उसके बाद k को चूज किया है, तो after choosing the value of k you have to write the value of epsilon dash. Okay, now you see, now it is very easy, and I can divide this quantity, isn't it? Because I have already told you this quantity is a non-zero quantity, right? In this case this is non-zero quantity, because if you take both the limits are zero, but still this k is the non-zero, right? So non-zero plus zero is non-zero, so I can divide any non-zero quantity by a non-zero quantity. Now this implies fg of x minus L1 into L2 strictly less than epsilon whenever mod x minus a less than delta. Now I am done. It is done, isn't it? So therefore you can write, so therefore limit fg of x tends to a equals to L1 into L2. Now this implies limit x tends to a fg of x equals to L1 का वैल्यू क्या है, लिमिट x tends to a fx, L2 का वैल्यू लिमिट x tends to a gx, right? Now this is absolute correct proof, okay? Because this proof is true if both the limits are non-zero, if any one of them is zero, or if both of them are zero. In each and every case this is true, right? But in the earlier proof, if you take the non-zero limits, then it is true. But if both the limits or any one of them is zero, then it is not true, because in this case you are not allowed to write epsilon by mod of L1 or epsilon by mod of L2. Okay, so remember that this is I suggest you have to follow this proof. So before that, positivity note it down. So let me prove number 5, and it is number 3 and 4. It is for your homework. Try to do by your own. Okay, I have done number 1, number 2, and this is number 5. Number 3 and 4 is very easy. You just try to solve by your own. Okay, this is number 5. So again I am going to prove it analytically. Okay, because the process we have already discussed how to prove those type of problems like that. So let us prove it. The first step is we have to assume that let epsilon greater than 0, right? And let limit fx x tends to a equals to L1, and limit gx x tends to a equals to L2. Okay, but you see it is given in the question itself that this limit cannot be equals to 0, right? Why? Because if this limit is 0, then it will become something by 0 which is undefined, isn't it? So this limit is non-zero, it is given in the question itself. So you have to assume that where L2 is not equals to 0, isn't it? Because this L2 cannot be equals to 0 because it is given that this cannot be equals to 0. Now again you have to estimate. Now f by g of x minus L1 by L2 whole mod, right? This is the way how to prove this type of problem. ये टर्म कहाँ से आया? पहले आपको ये टर्म लिख लेना है, उसके बाद यहाँ पे जो है इसको इस तरफ लेके आके मतलब माइनस दिस टर्म लिख लो, मतलब दिस टर्म माइनस दिस टर्म लिख लो। तो ये टर्म तो यही है ना, क्योंकि इसका लिमिट L1 है और इसका लिमिट L2 है, राइट। तो ये मैंने लिखा। तो अब आपको इसको एस्टिमेट करना है। तो दिस कैन बी रिटन एज fx by gx minus L1 by L2, right? This is the quotient of two function. Definition of quotient of two function. I have already learned in your, you have already learned in your Haslett level, right? And this gx is not equals to 0 because it is given in the equation itself. So this term is always defined. Now this implies f by g of x minus L1 by L2 mod, and this is what L2 fx minus L1 gx whole thing divided by L2 gx whole mod, right? Now this implies f by g of x minus L1 by L2 whole mod equals to, नाउ यहाँ पे आपको एस्टिमेट करना पड़ेगा। क्या एस्टिमेट होगा? आपको वैल्यू किसका पता है? fx माइनस L1 का वैल्यू पता है और gx माइनस L2 का वैल्यू पता है, मतलब लेस देन और एप्सिलॉन, ये आपको पता है इन दोनों में से। तो यहाँ पे आपको इसको एस्टिमेट करना पड़ेगा। पहले तो आपको लिखना पड़ेगा fx माइनस L1, राइट। उसके बाद लिख लो यहाँ पे gx माइनस L2, ठीक है ना। अभी देखो fx के साथ आपको क्या चाहिए? L2 चाहिए, तो इसके साथ L2 मल्टीप्लाई कर दो, राइट, क्योंकि fx L2 आई नीड दिस। और यहाँ पे आपको क्या चाहिए? gx L1, तो यहाँ पे L1 मल्टीप्लाई कर दो, राइट। तो fx L2 पॉजिटिव साइन है तो यहाँ पे पॉजिटिव लेना है, और gx L1 नेगेटिव है तो यहाँ पे नेगेटिव है तो माइनस ले दो। उसके बाद बाकी अपने आप हो गया। देखो माइनस L2 L1 और प्लस L2 L1 कैंसिल, तो एवरीथिंग इज ओके। नाउ दिस इज व्हाट डिवाइडेड बाय L2 gx होल मॉड हो गया। So this implies f by g of x minus L1 L2 whole mod and अभी इसको क्या लिखना है? इक्वल्स टू, मैं यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ, ठीक है, यहाँ पे थोड़ा रिफ्लेक्शन हो रहा है। तो यहाँ पे देखो ये टर्म इक्वल्स टू यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ। इसको लिखा जा सकता है L1 fx माइनस L1 ब्रैकेट माइनस L, यहाँ पे L2 होगा ना, L2, और यहाँ पे L1 gx माइनस L2 होल ब्रैकेट डिवाइडेड बाय L2 gx। तो ये मॉडुलस का डेफिनेशन है ना, पूरा फ्रैक्शन का मॉड है, तो न्यूमरेटर का मॉड डिवाइडेड बाय डिनोमिनेटर का मॉड। एक मिनट, लेट मी चेक कि आपको दिखाई दे रहा है या नहीं। या इट इज विजिबल। नाउ यू सी, नाउ दिस इंप्लाइज f by g of x माइनस L1 by L2 होल मॉड। नाउ इसको आप क्या लिख सकते हो? लेस देन और इक्वल्स टू आप यूज कर सकते हो। लेस देन और इक्वल्स टू इसको आप लिख सकते हो क्या? मॉड L2 mod fx माइनस L1 प्लस mod L1 mod gx माइनस L2 whole thing divided by mod L2 mod gx, राइट। ये मॉडुलस का प्रॉपर्टी है, या इट इज विजिबल। ये मॉडुलस का प्रॉपर्टी है, इजंट इट? बिकॉज mod a माइनस mod b को आप लिख सकते हो लेस देन और इक्वल्स टू mod a प्लस mod b, राइट। मॉडुलस ऑफ a माइनस b को आप लिख सकते हो mod a प्लस mod b। तो इसको आपको स्टार देना होगा। दिस इज द स्टार, राइट, दिस इज द स्टार। So before that, pause the video to note it down. So let us continue it. Continue this. So again, using those facts, right? That since limit fx x tends to मतलब a equals to L1, right? So इसको आप क्या लिख सकते हो? There exists delta 1 greater than 0 such that fx minus L1 less than epsilon dash whenever mod x minus a less than delta 1. Give it equation number 1. Again since limit gx x tends to a equals to L2, so this implies there exists delta 2 greater than 0 such that gx minus L2 less than epsilon dash whenever mod x minus a less than delta 2. Give it equation number 2 where delta dash equals to where epsilon dash equals to, I will write after that. Okay, तो इसको हम मिल गया एप्सिलॉन डैश, इसका भी मिल गया एप्सिलॉन डैश, बट आपको यहाँ पे ये इसका कैलकुलेशन करना पड़ेगा, राइट? यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ दिस, so this is also important. तो यहाँ पे मैं कैसे करूँ? यहाँ पे तो नहीं हो पाएगा, यहाँ पे करना पड़ेगा. यहाँ पे देखो, यहाँ पे थोड़ा रिफ्लेक्शन होगा, प्रॉब्लम होगा, it will create some problem. So let me start here, okay? It will be visible. Also mod L2 is greater than 0. Let me check whether it is visible or not. Yeah, it is visible. Also mod L2 is greater than 0, isn't it? Because L2 cannot be equals to 0. It is already given in the equation itself, right? And if you take modulus of any quantity, it will become positive, so it will be greater than 0, right? So therefore I can use this fact, it will be gx, right? So I can write gx minus L2 is strictly less than mod L2 by 2, right? Because this is again a positive quantity, because mod L2 is positive. If you divide any positive quantity by a positive quantity, so the resultant quantity is again positive, right? So this is also true whenever mod x minus a less than delta 3, right? So therefore this can be written as mod L2 minus mod gx, right? So this is less than or equals to mod L2 minus gx, right? And mod L2 minus gx is same as mod gx minus L2, isn't it? Because mod a minus b and mod b minus are same thing, and this is again strictly less than mod L2 by 2, isn't it? Whenever mod x minus a less than delta 3. Delta 3 you write here where delta 3 depends on mod L2 by 2. Okay, now from this line what can I write? Implies mod L2 minus mod gx is strictly less than mod L2 by 2, right? Whenever mod x minus a less than delta 3, right? So from here what can I write? I can bring this quantity here. So from this line I can write mod gx is greater than mod L2 by 2, right? Whenever mod x minus a less than delta 3. So give it equation number 3. Okay, let me check whether it is visible or not. Yeah, everything is visible. So up to this is okay, right? So before that, pause the video to note it down. So now we get 3 inequalities, right? That means 3 deltas. So now our job is to take the minimum of delta. So let let delta equals to minimum of delta 1 comma delta 2 comma delta 3, so that delta greater than 0, isn't it? Comma, with this chosen delta, the above inequalities above inequalities 1, 2, 3 holds whenever mod x minus a less than delta, isn't it? Now you can estimate this again, just using star. Let me write here. Okay, this is visible space. Using star, fg of x minus L1 by L2 strictly less than. Now you see it will be mod L2, right? And this time is what? Epsilon dash from inequality 1 and plus this is L1. It is again epsilon dash from inequality 2, and this is mod L2, and this will be mod L2 by 2. It is from inequality 3 whenever mod x minus a less than delta. Let me check whether it is visible or not. Yeah, it is visible. Now this implies this is f by g of x minus L1 by L2 whole mod. Now this is strictly less than, it will be what? Mod L2 plus mod L1 whole thing into epsilon dash divided by, this will be mod L2 square, so it will be what? It will be 2, because 2 will be bring in numerator, right? So twice of this whenever this is true. Now this implies f by g of x minus L1 by L2. So this will be what? 2 times of mod L2 plus mod L1 whole bracket divided by mod L2 square. Now I have to bring here epsilon, so I have to choose the value of epsilon dash here. So it is into epsilon dash will be what? Mod L2 square whole thing divided by 2 into mod L2 plus mod L1, right? This into epsilon. So this is the value of epsilon dash. So this cancel, this cancel, it will remain as epsilon. Whenever mod x minus a less than delta, right? Now this is the value of epsilon dash, and this is a positive quantity you see because L2 is non-zero, right? So this is non-zero, numerator is non-zero, denominator is non-zero, so this is the non-zero quantity. So you can write here where epsilon dash, you see मैंने यहाँ पे एक space रखा हुआ था previous page में कि epsilon dash का value क्या होगा? It will be mod L2 square into epsilon divided by 2 into mod L2 plus mod L1, and you see this is again a positive quantity, isn't it? Because this epsilon is a positive quantity, this is modulus square, it is again positive. This is modulus of some quantity positive, this is again modulus of some quantity positive. So 2 is again positive, so the entire quantity is positive. Okay, now you can write, so this implies f by g of x minus L1 by L2 whole mod, and it is strictly less than epsilon whenever mod x minus a less than delta, right? So from this line you can write, you can come to this part, you just come here, so from this line, therefore limit x tends to a, f by g of x equals to L1 by L2. Now this implies limit x tends to a, f by g of x equals to, it will be what? Limit x tends to a fx, and this will be limit x tends to a gx. Now it is proved. It is proved. Okay. So ये जो प्रूफ हम लोगों ने किया है, इसको, इस सभी प्रूफ को आपको लाइन वाइज समझना होगा, हर एक चीज को समझना होगा, क्योंकि अगर आपको ये थ्योरी इतना अच्छे से समझ में नहीं है तो आप प्रॉब्लम नहीं कर पाओगे, राइट? सो आपको हर एक स्टेप्स आपको मतलब समझना होगा, उसके बाद आपको प्रॉपर प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस दोज प्रॉब्लम्स एज मेनी टाइम्स एज यू कैन, otherwise you will not able to write in your exam, or you are not able to write, or you are not able to apply those theories to solve a particular problem. Okay, so practice is very important, as you have to remember always that the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. So thank you.